Oh, I'm back. Yeah, what is this? Thread pool 0. So that must be this call. I bet it's this module. Did I just wrap around or not? I did. Only happens 2 times. Occurs 2 times. Oops, what happened? Right. This must be the one then. I see set 1 0 2 0. Well, 0 0. Yeah, just binding 0 and then set 0, 1 and 2. That is the vertex shader anyway. And that same thread, I mean this thread is saying compiling, okay? And then the next thing that thread says, because apparently it takes a while before until the compiler is finished, that's here, and it says create a uniform buffer test pipeline characteristics base mshader input data dot mshader module 0 okay, blah blah blah, with handle the handle, and then we get the validation error for that handle. Or do we? Yeah, it's well, it's doing more things, but no, that's a handle. Period. Yeah, this one. And then that complains about 0 1. Then that does not occur, so it cannot be the module. Simple. This must be the module then. No, let's hope that that one contains a 0 1. That is also thread pool 0 0. Directly after it compiled this thing, I hope. Compiling, yep. 0 1. It's also not a 1 0. 3D, of course, yeah, it's Vulkan, so that's true 3D stuff. You can also do 2D stuff with it, but then you're just ignoring one dimension. I'm completely at a loss here. this thing has a uniform sampler here at set is 0, binding is 1. Well, that was it. Why is my memory so bad? 0.1. Yes, okay, that's the one. Finally. Okay, so shader is this module handle. I already wrote a issue saying that this error is not very clear, and they agreed, and they are going to update it. So in the future, it will say shader, and then you get just the module name, the module handle here, I guess, instead of that you have to look for it. But now we know which one it is. That shader that I've highlighted here uses set0binding1, which is in the combined image sampler, but that is not declared in the pipeline layout. Now we also the pipeline layout is not listed, but I can see that here in my debug output. This must be the layout. So let's have a look then what is in the layout. There is something directly. Created object and pipeline layouts with handle, the handle. Create pipeline layout, so the pipeline is created here. I only see hexadecimal values. Not super useful. I think these are the push constants, and this is probably the name of the debug name, which you see here as well. Should put this between quotes. Yeah, hi Lucas. Rusla is correct. Okay, these things here are the handles of the descriptor sets. And we're talking about descriptor set 0. So this one, it says, does not have a binding 1. That's what it says. So let's find that then. So we were here. I go up. And here we find created object descriptor set layouts. ... See, it's biting me already. I just filled in ... and now I'm also lacking debug information that could help me a bit. This is thread rule 0. Just in front of it, it created another one. So it creates 2. This is the weirdest thing. What does the space do here? There is a T missing. Definitely not enough debug output here. I mean, if it prints created object, then I want to know what went into that. And it prints created object twice in a row without telling me what it was doing. So pretty useless. I'll add more debug output, I guess. And I really should do something about the dot 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 here, if at all possible. Let's find this string. And there was another one that was that had no quotes. It was slightly confusing, and I forgot, of course, where that was. Well, this one, create pipeline layout. Yeah, I'm printing the debug name. Well, why not? But then let me put it between quotes. And the other one was here. So really nothing better that we can add here on the dots. Plus, yeah, there is no debug output at the beginning of this function. That is what I'm missing. I'm feeling it coming that I'm going to fix the debug name issue for the logical device. This is the logical device, and where do I store this layout that I create here? That's a lot of highlights. Here's a standard move. We move it to a map, and that map is this map, which is an element of the logical device. So this is definitely absolutely nothing to do with a window. Now suppose it was a window, then if you ask me, if you ask my memory, I would do something like debug name something, or is it just debug name? Debug name, no, it must be something that returns an ambifix. Of course I forgot it. What was the name? God, I cannot remember anything. Really, nothing. The only thing I do remember is that I have somewhere owning window, and then the debug name follows. I think that the order is also debug name. No, it's not the case. What about first and name? Also not. What about without owning? What about an X here? Should have done that sooner, I think. So let's try it again. Debug name. There we are. Debug name prefix is it? Okay, so I can that is added to the owning window. Why not add a debug name prefix for the logical device then. So I was in this file. So here's how that is normally done in a lot of places. Let's say pick one. I'm calling a function and I pass debug name prefix, whatever that returns, with a string. And then this string is where it is being put. Or let's say the context. The thing that we are working on. So then this becomes debug name prefix with some string, which I also will improve. And because we are now inside logical device, that's just going to be a member of logical device. So let's steal whatever the other one does. Synchronous window defect name prefix. Is that all? That's all. Okay, let's copy that. And then we go to the header file of this thing. No, not to the header file. This was added here. In task, I don't think so. We were here. What is this end if? It's probably just Tracy, if Tracy. Okay, well, let's put it below this in namespace vulkan. New member function called debug name prefix logical device. Boy, this returns an ambifix owner, which I think remembers the window that owns it. Ambifix owner is this thing. Oh, it has a pointer to a logical device. That's something. Owning window. Ambifix owner. I want to see the constructor of this thing. Well, that is this. So that's kind of funny. What we do with the owning window that is being passed to the constructor of the ambifix owner is well, we pass it as post to the as postfix function here, but this is no, I can overload it, I guess. But we get the logical device from the synchronous window. Logical device returns a const pointer. So I can just overload the constructor of the ambifix owner because it doesn't really store the synchronous window. Okay, so I'm returning this pointer of the logical device now. And yeah, same thing. And then we just overload the constructor. So let's say copy this as well then. And then this is being called with yeah, that's kind of annoying, I have to admit. It is a task. The task, no, wait. The window is a task, but what it returns is logical device in namespace vulkan. I sincerely hope. Yes, definitely. Okay, so this is going to be the vulkan logical device const pointer, and that one owning device or something, and then we have move prefix as postfix also has to be overloaded. We have now an owning device, and then the logical device is obviously simply the owning device. Owning logical device, yeah, maybe you should keep the logical in it. Logical device. Now the as postfix treats the task that is being passed here no different than any other pointer. So I don't really see a reason to overload this thing. I'm just going to pass a void pointer. I'll add a comment to say what it does. So the result is that my debug names get this appended as postfix, where then I can see what the address is of the owning object, either a window or the logical device. I have to add, however, that for tasks which are derived from a stateful task, and that is what I normally do. So the square bracket thing with the pointer is usually a task. So that worked really well for the synchronous window because that is a task. And I'm also doing it for logical device. But, well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should make clear that it is not a task. So this returns a string, and then you could say, nah, it's good. I mean, every pointer is unique, so I might as well search for it, and then I'll see that it is a logical device. Otherwise, I do have to change it. I'm still doubting. Maybe I should, I could use, say, angle brackets or something like that for the logical device. So I'm not really super confused by a square bracket prefix, a postfix, I mean, and that is not a task. Brace is typically brace-like, but I can use brackets. That's a better word. Nah, it's just a char. Let's use a char. Although maybe someday I want to have more than one char. So I guess this works. That's no longer a task, it's just a pointer. Okay, this one is still is correct now with those brackets there, and then we have here another one. And then maybe so I can use a I don't know. I'll just do this. Anything but square brackets. Right, so now we have an ambifix logical device defined, so the ambifix owner is correct. Okay, still have to add this to the declaration. And fix this because I changed this to a void pointer, didn't I? No, I did not. Owning window, and this one becomes owning a logical device. Okay, for the rest it's the same. That should work. I don't know, did I not? I feel like I forgot something, but shall I compile it or shall I just continue immediately with this dot dot dot? Basically, the dot 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 I want to use here is the key, but the key is like huge. On the other hand, who cares? Though maybe it's a little bit too huge. Nah, it's unlikely. Unlikely. I might want to see it. I am also printing it here, I guess. I'll just have to. Let's begin with printing it. I might want to see what the result is of the sort, so might as well print it here. As if we are entering it with a sorted vector, or is that too nasty? The DC stands for debug channel, in case anyone is wondering. Debug channel vulkan. And then the name of that thing. And then we just print whatever you want is being passed. The arguments, right? So we have only one argument. Okay, so we're entering that with the argument, and the argument is the key. You're using it as a key in the find of this map, and it's also exactly where we store it. There's a try in place, and this first argument here is the key. So what I want is to print it here. That's slightly problematic because assuming I can print it to an O stream, so this works. Here we only have a string, so I must use pluses and then a string. Now theoretically you should be able to do toString. And the wonderful thing is that if it should work theoretically, then you can just make it work. So now we can get probably a few pages of compile errors and then I have to fix it. But this code is in principle correct, right? This is correct and just this is correct. I don't want to have lots of complex code here. I just want to print a thing. The power of O streams. This is the reason why I use O streams for debug output. You don't have to worry about what you are printing. You just print it. And yes, we're going to get a horrible problem now, but I'm going to fix it. Okay, let's see where it all goes wrong now. Wow, I'm impressed. The first error is about the toString, so apparently it did not have a problem writing the thing, that vector to an O stream already. My mouth hangs open. Now it's dinner time, yeah. What happens if I do snooze? Will it warn me again that I really have to eat? toString, okay, but there is no O stream problem. I'm so surprised that I'm going to comment out this line and see if indeed it does compile without this line. Well, it's a declaration. The declaration layout is moved here and then everything is basically used, so the whole block goes. Error, out of line definition of debug name prefix does not match. It did not add the declaration. That's stupid, of course. So we have to switch to the header file, and it is a debug only function, right? I mean, this is also inside the if def cw debug. And yes, I started it just debug as macro name, and then someone mailed me, can you please change it because debug is used by everybody else. So I put my initials in front of it. It's in global namespace, so yeah, then you get a collision. Okay, what shall we do? What shall we do? Put it here, debug name, set debug name. It's already debug name-ish. Might as well add it here. And we fix owner. Wait, I'm not that certain that this is in the right class. It is, okay. So it is in Vulkan anyway. And this must be removed. And then we have the declaration. Yep, it compiles, and the snooze also works. Snooze for 5 minutes. Yeah, we keep doing that. Undefined reference. So which file was it that I just added the if zeros to? I don't know. There. So apparently the only problem it has indeed is with the toString. So we're going to add a toString for the descriptor set layout bindings, and that is slightly problematic because it is a vector. So the only way I can make that work is by using the argument dependent lookup inside namespace std. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Nope, we'll need to do something else, like print vector or something like that. I might already have that, now I think about it. It cannot be the first time that I print a vector. We need a string, stringize vector. I don't know, I'll probably have a different window here. It's closer to where I want to go. vk-utils. Print using. Oh, I can use print using. What an idiot. See, I'm really an idiot. Yeah, probably should use print using. Okay, that's still not easy. There's no vector here. Then we have debug. The devices, vulkan print on. Debug ostream. Yeah, this is just ostream, right? So that already worked. Let's see how often I use print using somewhere. Print using memory requirements. Required layers, available names, missing layers. It sounds like a vector. This is using a quoted list to print that thing. So it's print as a list. Often I call a vector a list. So maybe this quoted list can print elements and that are in a vector, but it will put quotes around it, and I don't want that. Seems I'm only using a quoted list with all with the print using, at least in all of these things here. This one is different. This is a printer. Okay, that's bits. Quoted list. There's another printer for bits. And I also only see this, but it must return a string. Pretty sure about that. Or not. No, it's probably not. It's probably writing to the O stream. Dang it. Yeah, print using is writing to an O stream, so this doesn't work. Okay, I have the feeling that I have to expand it, or I have to write a complete new utility for this. Maybe now is not the time. So instead I'm going to expand it, meaning I make a loop. That sucks, but just add extra code here then. So if def cw debug and if, and then we construct, okay, forget it, construct the debug name. That's not a debug name, it's a debug name prefix, which is already function. Let's call it prefix then. Feeling I'm missing something like a boost thing or something like that. Isn't there something that does exactly the same thing as I'm now doing? What is it called? You pass arguments and then it prints it to in string stream and returns the string. Hello, Shock. Tell me what this thing is called. I think it was part of Boost, and it allows you to convert an object to a string through an O string, stream. Plus or even boost, convert object to string. Suddenly, it's only JSON. Why? Gonna ask on IRC. It feels like the end is near, man. But they forget things like that. And where is my JIT? Here. Type in what's the name of that boost thing that will use string stream to convert any object to a string. think it was something with lexicographic, lexical cast. I got an answer from my personal guru. Lexical cast. It casts to a short, but apparently you can cast it to a string as well, like here. See, this is exactly what I'm doing. String plus and then something that can only be written apparently. So this is what I need, and I'm going to use it. I just don't like putting extra code here. Should be able to do it like this. Right, so what header does this thing need? Hopefully they say that here. Nobody thinks it's interesting enough to add name the header, or is this the header? I think this is the header. Compile. Undefined reference to vulkan as postfix. AI suitable task const pointer. What? Async task. Did I? For declared somewhere. Yeah, for declared here. Didn't know that was done. Or didn't know it. Wasn't that the one that I just changed to using brackets? And it compiles. So if now we run this again, FRC, not FRC, UBT. Validation error at the same place. This time it is complaining about slot 1.1 instead of 0.1. So let's search for the first validation error just in case. But it's probably a race condition. Yeah, so now the first one is 1.1. And the validation error still comes from the call to create a graphics pipeline. So I will still have to look for there must be this module because the one here, the binding, so set is 1, binding is 1, and I'm only using binding is 1 for the texture. And the texture is only used in the fragment shader. So it's bullshit to even look at that one. It is the fragment shader, so it must be this module. Probably not even interesting to look at that, but let's do it anyway. Thread pool 3. Oh, I have 0 highlighted. Yeah, 3. So 1.1 is here. Oops. 1.1 is here, and that is the thread pool 3 compiling. And that one, after done compiling, says we created this handle here for the module, and that handle then is passed as the fragment shader to create graphics pipeline, and that then causes the validation error complaining about 1.1 and the combined image sampler. So now then we go look for the layouts, what is being used for the layout then. Here we have you are calling create pipeline layout with 3 descriptor set handles. 1, 2, 3. And we know that the problem was with 1. The validation error is about set 1. So this is 0 and this is 1. So this one is the wrong layout, or does not have binding 1. Let's have a look at what that is. So looking upwards for that handle, and that handle is here. And we see that the debug output now works. Instead of ... I get all of this. Binding is 0. Descriptor type uniform buffer. Descriptor count 1. Stage flags, vertex, immutable, sampler 0. So indeed there is no binding 1 here. And I can immediately see that here. I do not have to search upwards for whatever this was. That's nice. I see also here there is a binding 1 here. This one has binding 1 and binding 0. So binding 1 is the combined image sampler for the fragment shader, and then we have binding 0 is again a uniform buffer for the vertex shader. So this is the one that we should have used, but we are using this one. Now I would like to know if that one is used as well, but I may be at the wrong place. So we go back here. Yeah, it is used as the third one. What? What? That's surprising to say the least. So this one should have been the second argument. Well, I don't know. Let's see. Let's look at the source code, what this function is being called. Why so many places? It is called here, but also here. Mean that it is called an IMG? Okay. That it is called in a different application, whatever. But why would it be called from a pipeline factory? This is the declaration, this is the debug output. This line I do not understand. There is the declaration, I guess, yes. This is IMG. And this is probably the one that I look for. There's two of them. Okay, let's first look here, or maybe just add the other one as well. That one is commented out. That explains a lot. Oops. I think we lost the line number of the second one. So apparently then this is the only place where it is called. VHV descriptor set layouts. We just mangled the order by sorting that. Whoops. Horrible mistake. You cannot sort it. What a nonsense. I'm sorting it. Maybe it's not that much nonsense actually, because I want to generate the set values as well. The real problem is that I should have had a fix me here for the sets. So the set values might not be correct, blah blah blah. It is per definition that the order of this vector determines the set number. That might actually be pretty canonical. So what if I sort them anyway and then refill the set values? Going to run over all the elements as a reference. What does this contain? It contains set layouts. Might as well do that then. So I want to have a reference to all the set layout of this vector. And then set a new set value. Set. I still need to write the set now. Nope, that's not going to work. This is not what I expected, I have to admit. Okay, this is not working, there's nothing to change here. But if I change the order, then okay, this thing is the first argument of this function. This also does not make much sense. Okay, so I'm adding, I have this vector here. I'm adding it to the flat create info, so that this is what is going to be used when creating the pipeline layout in the order that I add the descriptor sets. So the first thing that I push to this vector, if I would not sort it, is set 0 and so on. If later I sort it, then apparently right here I do not have control over which one is pushed first and second, etc. The set is determined later by the sort. Now what we're doing here is, depending on which pipeline it is, I explicitly choose where to push stuff. Here I push the top first and left second, and the bottom is always third. And here I have left first and top in the middle and bottom at the. So then resorting that destroys everything. But the question is, of course, I think something funny is going to happen here. If I generate everything, it's going to generate the same thing. Except for the shaders. You see the pipeline 1 and 2 have the following difference in the shaders. And apart from what is in the shaders, everything will be generated, so the rest is just straightened out if the shaders are the same. I have the vertex shader number 1. And yeah, all these layouts will be generated, so you can ignore that. You just should just look at this. And that doesn't say anything about sets or bindings. The order should not matter at all. So once I generate this, it's just going to put the top always at the first position, or at the last position actually. So we saw that sorted to the last position, the last set. So I think it's going to put, it's going to generate these declarations here in a way that set 0 is used for the top position. Sorry, set 2 is used for the top position. And then this number is also going to be generated. So that will work. Then it will work. But now I have this hard-coded and I'm already sorting that vector. So instead of what I did, make a quick for loop and call set, I have to change the shaders. I have to change the code that generates the declarations at that point, which is difficult. I would say at the very least I first have to finish the code that actually generates the declarations. And until then, I probably should not sort the vector then. I don't know where we were. Yeah, that looks nice. 11, 8, 9. Here is a sort. I'm going to comment that out and add a fix me. Fix me. This should be sorted so that we can unambiguously compare the vector which is being used as a key or not. Yeah, that should be, otherwise I don't want to compare it. So this is the descriptor set layout bindings, and we use that as totally as key. So this should be sorted so that you can unambiguously compare the vector that is used as a key in however, the order determines the set enumeration. So set enumeration. So that a reorder requires a change of the set and I don't know, shader declarations. Now if we do not order it, then the shader declarations can stay as they are, but then I will not see that they are the same, which is actually helping me, because before it found the same layout back, and it was printing I'm not printing anything here. Why am I not printing anything? I'm printing it here. Try and place pipeline layout. And what is this? Try and place descriptor set layout. Right. So I was printing pipeline layout found in the cache. And that should not happen because the layouts are different at the moment. Certainly without sorting. But on the other hand, if it do not sort, then that will not happen. It should print twice pipeline not found. And then everything will work. And if it works, then I'm going to eat. Because, yeah, a bit overtime again. Well, not even that much. Compiles and it works. Sorry guys, I'm going to eat because we have successfully run the application. I don't think I even have validation errors anymore, right? Let's run it like this. No validation errors. And this one is also free of validation errors, I think. We're completely done. It compiles, it links, it runs, no validation errors. No, we're finished, yay. Yeah, not. But what is next? That is the question. I think next is that I'm going to do a Git Commit. And then think very hard about all the fix me's that I left in the code. What? Okay, one of the things that I remember is that it currently should not work with more than one frame resource. So the frame resource count is now at 2. And if I set it at 1, I am more like what the source code is doing. For some reason it works also at 2, I don't know. Anyway, no validation error, right? Very good. So yeah, next is a commit, and I'm going to eat first, watch a movie probably. Think I'll be back tomorrow. I bet everyone is surprised. One moment it's one big mess, nothing compiled, doesn't work, etc. And then you look the other way and you look at the screen again and I'm done. Everything works. Well, then you should have paid attention. No, seriously. See you later or tomorrow.